So you can see there's two different settings with this vacuum. There's one, the bare floor, and one brush on. The brush on is what you're gonna wanna use for carpet, and then the bare floor is for things like the hardwood, like we just did here. So be mindful of that when you are doing hardwood. You wanna, this isn't plugged in right now, but you want it on this middle setting right here. That will be the bare floor, and then down all the way will be the brush floor for when you're doing carpet. So now that you've seen how powerful this thing actually is, I do want to go through and tell you everything else that you need to know about it. I've actually had this vacuum now for over a year and it's been great for us. Once you're done vacuuming and it's time to actually go through and get rid of all the crap that you've collected, you can see everything that we just collected from that vacuum in there. There's a ton. Basically, there's two latches right here, one that you pop up this way and then another one over here. And then the great thing is you can take this off. You don't have to worry about anything falling off on you, because then there's another latch down here that will open up this bottom part. Or if you had stuff stuck up top and you really had some nasty things that filled up this all the way, you can actually open this up on the top as well. But most of the time, I don't really open it up on the top that often. Usually I'll go from the bottom because that's where most of the things collect. So we'll grab this, and the thing I like is it just opens it right up. You just push this button and you can see everything falls out right there. You can shake it out. Sometimes I have to, kind of slam it against here a little bit, but it gets a good job of emptying everything out of there. Once that's done, you can then go through, clip it back in, attach it back on really easily onto this thing. Make sure that you have this right here clipped on. And then you have this side on here, and you can clip this on as well. Another great thing about this vacuum is you can adjust the suction for high pile carpets and area rugs. So you can see if you wanted to release the suction, you can go through this way, or if you wanted more suction, you go through and have that there. You can see there's a little vent that will release some of that suction. So that's a great feature to be aware of when you are, you have a high piled area or area rugs. Another feature that comes in handy very often is you can see that this is like a nice little handle, not only for when you are pushing, but also to go through and grab this right here. If you clip this, you'll see that this comes out and now you have a little handheld vacuum. You can go through and add your attachments on top of this to go through and vacuum very easily. You just go through and you turn on the vacuum down here like you normally would. But another thing that is really good about this is if you didn't want to lug around this entire thing, this part actually comes off. So you can see over here, if you wanted to take off this part and just carry this around, you can press this red button right here and then lift. And you can see that this entire thing comes off. And now you have a nice little handheld vacuum where you can go through and vacuum stairs, vacuum couches, vacuum whatever you'd like without having to look around the bottom part as well. And when it's time to actually put this thing back on, let me get a better view of this. You can see this is super easy to just slide back on just like this, and it clips on perfectly. And then this part, you just take off the attachment here. You just take off the attachment here, put it back on this little ledge, and then you can slide this back on. And you just wanna make sure when you are putting this on, you just hear the little clip like that. So very easy. And another thing that I do want you to be aware of as well is you can see that this is locked right now. So like when I go to put this down, the thing isn't going down. In order to do that, you can see there's a little footstep icon right here. If you just held that down, then you are ready to go through and maneuver this. You can see it's very easy to get around things. The design here allows you to get this really flat so you can get it underneath couches and underneath hard to reach places. You can see just how flat you can get this if you wanted to when reaching underneath something, which is another big advantage of this vacuum. And if holding just the handle up here, if you wanted to, instead of just holding the handle here, there is also the extension wand down here. You can see there's this nice little red button. I like that there's all these red buttons that let you know exactly where to push. You can see if you push this down and pull this out, then you have the entire wand here as well as a hold extension. So lots of different options with this vacuum. We're gonna put that back inside of here. And you can see it just clicks right back in, super easy. And last but certainly not least, of course, this does have a nice little cable management, so you can go through and just loop this around and keep the cables nice and clean by wrapping it around this, like so. One other thing is if you do need to go through and change the filter, it's very easy to do that as well. You can see it's just one button. Down here, there's a little button that you just clip, and then this comes out. And then here's your filter that you can go through, pull this out, and then put your new one in. Very easy to do so. I appreciate how easy they make it to change these filters, because on some vacuums, it can be really difficult. And then when it's time to put this back in, you take these parts in the front here, clip them in first, and then bring that through, and then just make sure you hear that click. So overall, if you are looking for an everyday kind of household vacuum, this has been great for us. Like I said, I've used this now for the past year and a half, and we haven't had any problems. We have a 2-year-old that makes messes everywhere, and this is always saving our lives, whether it's on hardwood or on carpet. It gets the job done, but something that I would certainly recommend.